Hi, I'm Samantha. Today I'm going to walk you through Froont. I will show you the features and let you in on the allowances and constraints. First, I want to start off with the former issue. For many years prior to Froont, designers faced an unsatisfying problem. They either had to pay someone a lot of money to code and alter layouts, or had to try and figure out how to do it themselves, which ultimately set them back. So, Froont was born. Froont is a standalone online platform that allows users to build responsive websites without coding. It allows for CSS and HTML. In other words, Froont simplifies designing a website so you can do it yourself. Yes, without experience and without spending a lot of money, your website will look luxurious in all of the right ways. There are many allowances. Froont allows the designer to share his or her results faster and more conveniently by offering a large drag-and-drop interface. The finished product can be sent to clients and collaborators as a link instead of an entire code to decipher. This allows those new users to see the website immediately from their cell phones, tablets, and computers. Froont is an admirable and strategic application because the focus is now on the end product or end user. Before, you had to worry about coding each word, mouse movement, and pictures. Now, you're focused solely on the content itself and how your viewers will be attracted to the site. Since Froont takes care of the behind-the-scenes work, the user will have more time to play around with the different templates and options. Testing and adjusting is essential here because, let's face it, most humans are first drawn to attractiveness and critique design with their eyes instead of start with what's inside. This brings me to pictures. Having experience in Photoshop and InDesign can help, but it isn't necessary. Unlike those applications, Froont doesn't require static images and a layer of web design for someone to code and make it come alive. Froont also allows the user to see what they've made from a computer, phone, and tablet perspective. This is extremely helpful to the designer because on other applications you have to create different size pictures so they fit on a computer, on a phone, and on a tablet, which is tedious to do. Another allowance is that Frount's basic package is free. So before you want to invest, you have to play around. The other packages are Freelancer, which is $17 per month, and Agency, which is $39 per month. With advantages, there are always the oh-so-favorable disadvantages or constraints. First, there is an autosave feature. This sounds like an allowance because in many cases it is, but sometimes work is lost if you put your computer on sleep or shut it quickly. This has only happened to me once, and I've been playing around with it for quite some time, so I wasn't sure if it was a glitch on my end. However, when I researched about this issue, I found a couple of comments regarding a flawed autosave. Another constraint is that there aren't any tutorials to help the designer reach its fullest potential. There is one that's an overview of Froont, but it doesn't explain the tedious processes. It's true that you don't need experience to use it, but learning how to do everything on your own will take a good chunk of time. When I went through this, I realized my project does not look like the many completed ones on Frount's main page. Look how awesome those look. I went into thinking my project would look this awesome, but in order to do that, I will have to look up tutorials on YouTube and reach out to the staff for help. However, their blog did help clear a bunch of things up. They have a lot of articles explaining research for everyone, if testing is a part of design, positioning and web design, a brief history, and a lot more. Going back to restrictiveness, how unique can your website be? To me, your website could look similar to someone else in your experience realm because the templates eventually become restricting. Froont also offers the option of private or public. If your website is public, someone has the ability to clone and use what you've done. For example, this is used by TwinMe on Froont. This is both an allowance and constraint. If you're a designer and like an idea to build off of, it's available in no time. I could easily use this one if I wanted. This also allows the designer community to grow because you can build off one another and help each other out. However, if you worked hard on your website, someone can easily take it depending on the package they have. For designers, the private option is essential because their client's website isn't released before it's done. Let's face it, bad first impressions are hard to get rid of, so if your client or another user sees an uncompleted project with your name tied to it, your credibility lessens. In all, Froont has positively transformed how websites are made. I'm looking forward to see where the evolution goes.